Okay, so again, I've already provided a recorded discussion on on the fundamental concepts of human rights. So, let me ask Batumalaki. Batumalaki, can we consider human rights as a form of privilege? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
So, what's your final answer? Is it a right? Is it a privilege or not?
No, ma'am. Not
No. What
naman.
makes you say that human rights is not considered as privilege?
Because what human rights, ma'am, is that it's our right, ma'am. It's our right to what we are doing in our society, ma'am. So what we do, it depends on ourselves, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Let's have another one. How about Delario? Delario, same question. Can we consider it as a privilege? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So human rights is considered as a privilege, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? What makes you say that it's a privilege?
No, ma'am.
What's your
Ay,
final answer? Is it a yes or a no?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, what makes you say that human rights is considered as a privilege?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Ma'am, oh,
Okay, let me try to ask Gabriel.
Ako, ma'am? Ay, okay, ma'am.
Yes, Gabriel. Is it a privilege? Yes or no?
No. No, ma'am.
Okay, what makes you say that it's not a privilege?
Human rights cannot be considered as a privilege because every person is entitled to a certain fundamental rights simply by the fact that we are human, ma'am.
All
Human being.
right, very good, very good. That is correct. 'Di ba I have mentioned in the pre-recorded discussion that when you say human right, it is innate to us. It is considered as a birthright. So, when you say, let me share my screen para mas sasabta na to. When we say when we say privilege, it's not the same with right, 'di ba? Kaya nga naman, from the very beginning, my question was, can we consider human rights as a privilege? Of course, contradicting na ang word nga right and privilege. So it gives us an automatic idea that human rights is not a privilege because when you say privilege, it is something that is given. Okay, is given that anytime pwede pong kuhaon pagbalik or pwedeng ma-revoke. Unlike our human rights, it cannot be granted and it cannot be revoked. Okay? Kaya again, when we say human rights, it is considered as a birthright simply because you're a human being. But take note, I have also emphasized that when we say human rights, it is not only given as soon as gipanganak ka, but even if you are still inside the womb of your mother, you are still an unborn child, kaya wa pa ka gipanganak, even if napakasitiyan, still naa kay katungod. And in fact, due to the protection of acknowledgement that there is already the so-called life, bisag wa pa kagipanganak, bisan pag if you are days old, months old, excuse me, that is the reason why here in the Philippines, the act of abortion is considered as a crime. Okay? Dili din eh, sayop din akong gi-share. Okay, a minute first. Sayop din akong gi-share. Okay. Dere, dere. A little lang. Share. Dere. Okay, please to confirm if you are seeing my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
All right. Very good, Pepe. Very good, Pepe. So, Now we will discuss on the 30 universal rights. So when you say 30 universal rights, it is not only observed by the Philippines, but it must be observed, it must be respected and protected by all state leaders. Okay? So ang pinakauna nato diri nga universal right is that all human beings are born free. Okay? Free and equal in dignity and in rights. So meaning to say, as soon as gipanganak ka, automatic you do have this. You are entitled, of course, to enjoy human rights. You are entitled to receive protection from the government. You are entitled to receive the right to life, the right to liberty, the right to security, and even the right to education and the right of your political opinion. Take note that our subject, human rights education, does not focus on your constitutional rights. Again, when you say human rights, it does not focus on your constitutional rights lang, but it also focuses on all types of rights nato. Right to education, right of healthcare, okay? Right, your statutory right, so on and so forth. So it covers everything. Okay? So that is the reason why the government always makes sure nga in order for the people to be equally treated and equally protected and the rights are given, monang programs are also created by the government. We cannot deny the fact that here in the Philippines, our socioeconomic status is divided into three. We do have the rich people, those people who are in the upper strata of the society, people in the middle, and we do have also people who are living in impoverished situations. Maunang ang atuang government in order to protect this in order to protect our co-Filipinos who are in the lowest strata of the society. That is the reason why programs are created to ensure that they are not somehow discriminated. That they can somehow enjoy their rights. I've mentioned earlier nga pinaagi sa ato ang universal human rights na ate gitawag nga right to education. Take note, tanang bata, whether they belong into a rich, middle, or poor family, all of them kita tanan na atay right to education. And it is also protected under, let me show it to you, a little lang. And it is also protected under, a minute, can you see my screen? PD
Yes, ma'am.
603. Okay, thank you. Tayo sa pasensya. Right. Hinay ang connection. My goodness. Okay, a little. Okay. So, under Presidential Decree 603, it provides the Child and Youth Welfare Code. So, it also stipulates the rights of the child. Okay, including the right to education, the right of proper clothing, sa pagaingon ana, right of becoming a right not to be abandoned, right not to be neglected. Usa pay giingon diri, every child is endowed with the dignity and worth of a human being from the moment of his conception. But pasabot gikan sa pagnabdus niya. Okay? Sa pagnabdo sa bata. As generally accepted in a medical parlance, therefore, the right to be born well. So, mo to kung giingon ninyo that even if unborn pa ang bata wa pa gipanganak, the right is already given, okay, by making sure that abortion remains illegal here in the Philippines. And aside from that, to ensure that the child, even if still inside the womb of the mother, receives proper medical attention. That is the reason why in the barangay level, I do not know if you were able to observe this, in the barangay level, kanang ato ang mga midwives provides a free examination and what's this prenatal checkup to preggy women. In fact, they also, as long as naada joy budget or yeah medicine also in the in the respective barangay clinic mo nang muhatag po na sila og mga ferus and other prenatal medicine. Sometimes naaputay mga companies that creates no manufactures milk para sa mga mabdos nga mama. They also provide mga sample sachets like Anmam, so on and so forth. Mura ko ga commercial sa kay Anmam. Ingon ana, 'di ba? Usa pa migingon diri. Every child has the right to a wholesome family life that will provide them with the love, care, understanding, guidance, and of course, the material security. When you say material security, making sure nga ang usa ka bata is nagpuyo og four corners sa ilahang balay. Dili ka nang naa sa karsada. Okay, making sure that they are safe. So it also includes kanang given of proper clothing, so on and so forth. Even the basic need that is still part of the rights of the child. So mo nay buot pasabot dira. Okay, it is equally given to everybody. But take note, such kuan free equality in dignity and rights, it is not only observed sa panahon nga bata ra ka hangtod magkadako ta. Of course, the equality, dignity, and observance of our right is gina-observe gyapon na siya. A very good example is that kanang gitawag natog gender equality. Okay? Unsa man ang gender equality? That even if ikaw, you're a male or you're a female or ibutang nato you're a member of the LGBTQ++, you are, no, you do have the right to get an education. You do have the right to land for a job because the basis manggod sa karong panahona for landing a job, it is not based on your gender nga dapat ikaw laki para ikaw mo'y unang masulod. But rather, it is based on the merits, on the credentials, on your qualifications. So mo nang makita ninyo karon that gender equality is really observed whether it is in public or private sectors. I will give you a very good example. For sure you were able to notice this. Example na lang nato ang Philippine National Police. 'Di ba karon? Ang Philippine National Police provides 10 to 15% quota intended for the female. Okay? Intended for the female. Okay? But then again, the organization also, like the Philippine National Police, always make sure that they do not discriminate our fellow Filipinos who applies in the organizations that are members of the LGBTQ++. Okay. Kung madawat po sila in terms with the promotion, gender equality is also being observed at all times because the basis of promotion, it is not because ikaw lalaki mo nang ikaw mo'y ma-promote, but rather again it is based on the merits, it is based on the credentials, it is based on your qualifications. Questions, clarifications, do you have? Am I too fast? Can you still hear me? Please do confirm
Yes,
with
ma'am.
me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So aside from gender equality and the right to education, even attaining justice, it is given to all. It is given equally. Like for example, ibutang nato that you were being accused of a certain crime. Like ibutang nato gipasangin ka nangangawat. Okay? Then unfortunately, ang nakasuhan ka ni sangat na sa korte. So ang mahitabuan na, if ever you cannot afford to hire your own lawyer, the judge will not allow, no, nga mo prosper ang trial nga wala kay counsel. What do you mean by counsel? Parang attorney ba? So sa panahon sa arraignment, when you say arraignment, it is kanabang reading of the case against sa imuha filed against sa imuha. And during arraignment, pangutan-on man kaana if what is your plea, whether your plea is guilty, imong giangkon, or plea not guilty, you do not admit that you have committed the said allegation. Ingon ana. So, during arraignment, kung makita sa judge that you do not have a lawyer, he will not allow the arraignment to start or to continue rather if wala kay imuhang counsel. Maunang mo-appoint siya, ngayon siya, "Oh, Pepe, you need to stand as a lawyer para ni Celorio." It's like that. So makita nato nga walay discrimination in terms with attaining justice. Okay? The giving of justice is dili siya magdepende sa imuhang status in the society, whether you do have a connection, whether you're poor, or whether you're not. Okay? Same as, wala, ibutang na to, wala pa ka nakasuhan, pero you are being arrested. So, assuming that si Gabuya is the arresting officer, ang iyahang gi-arrest is si VJ. Okay? So, the primary job of Gabuya, okay, sa panahon nga mag-arrest siya ni VJ, is to ensure that Gabuya does not violate the rights of VJ. Okay, that is the reason why kanang ato ang mga police officer, every time that they do perform an arrest, whether it is with warrant or without a warrant, it is very important, it is very imperative on their part to make sure that the Miranda rights are given. Unsa man ang mga Miranda rights, ma'am? These when you say Miranda rights, these are the basic rights of the arrested person. So, unsa may nakasulod sa atong Miranda rights? Mayong you need to inform him sa nature sa iyahang violation. Another, you need to inform him also nga he has the right to remain silent. That anything he says can be used against him or her. Another thing, kinanglan i-inform pud siya nimo that he has the right to have his own counsel. Kung dili niya ma-afford because he doesn't have a money, then a lawyer will be provided sa iyaha coming from the public attorney's office. Okay? So, in the law enforcement agency pod also, every time that there is a violation of human rights, automatic, we have discussed this in the last semester, automatic that the internal affairs service also conducts an automatic investigation over the misconduct of the police. Most especially if there are operations nga resulting to casualties or violation of human rights or death of a civilian or even the arrested person. Okay? Questions, clarifications. Do you have
None,
questions?
ma'am.
None. How about the others? Do you have any questions or clarifications? Because next week we will have an oral exam. Are you sure you do not have any question?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, VJ.
Ha- the AS, ma'am, is the watchdog of the PNP, man, to, di ba? Oh, yes, ma'am, sir.
Yes, that is correct. It is the
Yes.
Thank you.
disciplinary. Yes, it is the investigative and disciplinary body of the Philippine National Police. But then again, it is not only AYAS ang investigative and disciplinary body of the Philippine National Police, because we also have the pleb. We also have the mayor, not mayor. We also have the chief of police. We also have the provincial director, the regional director. These are also what's these commissioned officers in the PNP organization that can also conduct an immediate investigation over the misconduct of the police and provides also disciplinary action. Pero mula kong giingon nga makuyawan dyan na sila if it is the AYAS who will conduct an investigation. Okay? Follow-up question, VJ?
None so far, ma'am.
All right. How about the others? Questions, clarifications?
None so far, ma'am.
Okay, so-
None, ma'am.
All right. A minute first. Okay, sa gamay lang. Hello, hello. Yes, sir. Mayong hapon. Yes, sir. Ay, hello, sir. Yes, sir. Sa kuan, sir. Sa tawag puro katubahan. Katubang na itulura gani kabalay diha. Okay. So since you do not have any questions or clarifications, let us proceed to a universal right number 2. So everyone is entitled to rights, freedoms without distinction. When you say distinction, it is synonymous to discrimination of any kind, such as in terms of the race, the color, the sex, the language, the religion, the political affiliation, uh, the national or social origin, the property, the birth, or any other status. That is the reason why, in the pre-recorded discussion on the fundamental concepts of human rights, I have mentioned to you that when you say human rights, it is given to everybody, regardless of your status in the society, regardless of your sex, regardless of your color, regardless of nationality, regardless whether you're a member of an indigenous community, okay, indigenous people community, or whether you're a kuan ka ng marginalized group, dili na siya magdepende kay nga naman when you say human rights, it is given to everybody. I think I want to tackle about political affiliation. Probably some of your classmates are even asking, unsa ni kabahin? When you say political affiliation, okay, meaning say mo ni imuhang katungod to karbang to express kung asa ka ganahang mulaban, whether you are pro Lenny or you are pro Marcos. Okay? So nobody can dictate kung kinsa dapat ang imuhang butuhan, not even your parents. Kaya remember, right of suffrage is ato ba yung katungod. When you say suffrage, mean to say ang right to vote ato yun na siya. And nobody can somehow what's this remove such right unless kung dili ka rehistrado. Okay? Kay you know what, kung if you are not registered magud sa COMELEC nya niagi na ang tulo ka eleksyon niya wala dya nagparehistro ka but you are not kana bang voting, you are not exercising your right, you will be removed from the list. Pero assuming nga nag-register ka, okay, nagparehistro ka sa COMELEC, pag abot sa eleksyon, nobody can even dictate you kung kinsa imuhang butaran. Maunang kanang mga tao, I do not know if ever naglantaw ba mo og kuan news ato nga time. There were a lot of people who were very angry. Ngano man, kay katong pagkuan sa machine, natingala sila kung unsa hanong ang nigawas kani siya nga presidential ball where in fact lahi man iyahang gibutar. And kung ingon, ma'am, unsa man na naabay crime nga naabay violation nga gibuhat ang voter nga nasuko siya nganong naay sayop sa result sa PCOS machine, walay violation. In fact, ang nakasala ato sila pagani. Kay ngano man, remember ang right to vote ato na siyang katungod, and we need to make sure that such right is also being protected by making sure that the result of the election is clean. Okay? So, even your parents cannot even, cannot even dictate kung kinsa inyo ang butaran. Pero, muna siya akong giingon, not everybody can exercise political affiliation. Most especially if you are a police officer, a member of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the PDEA, the Navy, basta law enforcement agency, mga non-partisan organization na sila. Unsay buot pasabot non-partisan organization. Meaning to say, they should remain neutral. Kung mangutana mo na ako, ma'am, you've mentioned that they need to remain neutral. Buot pasabot ba nga dili sila mubutar? No. Remember ningon ko ganina nga we do have the so-called right of suffrage, meaning to say in simpler term, naatay right to vote. Though it is true, I have mentioned that they are non-partisan, but dili buot pasabot kay abi dili sila pwedeng mo affiliate, dili sila wala sila katungod nga mubutar, makabutar na sila of course. Okay? Questions, clarifications? Another thing, kanang in terms with your sentiments to the government, like for example, may gun mo nga, gamay ra jud kaayo. Okay, so let us continue. Another thing is nagiskot po ta diri of kuan opinion. Okay. So kadang you will express nga you are kuan ba satisfied with the performance of our government officials, okay kay na siya. Kaya ano man, that is your part of your right to kana bang express your sentiments, your opinions towards the performance of our mga public officials. Vice versa, if you will also say, ay, di ko ganahan niya kay kurakot, di ko ganahan niya kay wala mahumaning project, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Take note, you are still exercising your rights. Even ka na mag-rally mo, still you are exercising your rights. Kaya remember ka na mag-rally ta, mukuha ba po tag-permit, ana. The reason for the permit to ensure that it will not disrupt the normal flow of the traffic. Kay and to ensure also nga diya silang area i-designate so that it will not disrupt the usual activity po. Okay? Matod pa ang peaceful rally, peaceful assembly, that is part of our right. Ano sa man dili mahimong okay ang rally when there is already violence? Ano sa man dili mahimong okay ang rally? If kanang mga rallyista or the leader of the rally is already inciting to rebellion, that's a different thing. If that happens, a crime is already committed. But if you are just doing a rally, no? Waving your flags, okay? O unsa pa na ilang gipanulat dira, as long as it is peaceful, it is okay. No crime has been committed. They're just exercising their rights. And for sure, you were able to see that sa atuang mga kuan television like in TV5 and ABS and even in Channel 7. Okay? Questions, clarifications do you have?
Yan, ma'am.
Oy, siging nan. Kuya Juan, kuha ng
So
siging
far,
nan.
ma'am.
Okay, what's your question, Gabuya?
Nan, ma'am.
Nan. Kuya Juan, kung sige gananda. Okay. Another thing, it mentioned here about the property. Yes, this is the beauty ha. Kaya nga naman. Ang nakalami pagod, part of our right is the part sa tuwang katungod is ownership. Okay? When you say property, this refers to real property. Examples of real property are our lots, yuta, and our houses. These are examples of real property. So in short, part sa to ang katungod as a Filipino is that naatay katungod mupalit og yuta anywhere as long as it is within the Philippine archipelago. Usaboy buot pasabot ana, kanang pinalit nato whether it's a commercial land, residential land, agricultural land, automatic that is considered as a private property. Unsa po'y buot pasabot ana. Since it is already considered as a private property, therefore the government has no right to convert our private property into public property. I will repeat, ang government walay katungod to convert our private land into a public land. Unless there is a just compensation given by the government.
For the use of roads. Yes,
Iya,
ma'am.
correct. Correct. So kanang mga balay nga naigo sa road widening, dili buot pasabot their right has been violated. No, because those families, those owners of those lands that were converted or affected by the road widening, katong pila ka square meters ginaihap po na siya and a just compensation was given by the government. Okay? Remember that the government has nana sila tulo ka rights. Okay? Ay natry three inherent powers. The power of taxation, the power of eminent domain, and the police power. So kanang conversion of private to public property with, of course, just compensation, that falls to the power of eminent domain by the government. Question? Question? Question. Do you have? None again. Okay. All right. Next is everyone has the right to life, to liberty, and security of a person. So when you say right to life, okay, kaning right to life and liberty, this right is protected by our supreme law of the land, which is which is the Philippine Constitution. Sorry, a minute.
Bill of Rights, eh, ma'am.
Yes, that is correct. Ang atuang
It is,
right.
it
Sige,
is
go.
belong to kuan ma'am kani natural rights. Correct me if I wrong ma'am, natural rights, which is example is kuan ma'am, since every person is right, the right to be free ma'am,
Yes, that is also
natural rights.
yes, that is correct. Because and such natural right is also protected by the legal rights. That is the reason why in the Philippine Constitution, Article 3, specifically the Bill of Rights Section 1, it clearly stipulated here that no person, okay, no person, no Filipino, hinaya kong connection, sorry. No Filipino shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process of the law. And that is correct, PJ. That aside from the legal rights, it is also stipulated as it is also considered as our natural right. Narao, right? No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property again without due process of law. So let us talk about life first. So unsay but pasabot summary execution. Unsay summary execution? Killing ba? Extrajudicial killing is considered as a crime. Nga naman, it is a form of life deprivation without due process of law. Committing abortion is also an example of life deprivation without due process of law. So, extrajudicial killing is life deprivation without due process of law. And those examples of ours are considered as a crime. Pero, take note that there are also instances that life deprivation is not considered as a crime or not considered as illegal if there is due process of law. Anus aman? I'll show you the history sa ato ang death penalty. As of the moment, history. Very sorry sa ako ang poor connection as of the moment. So I hope you're hearing me properly. History of death penalty in the Philippines. Okay. So as of the moment, wala ang death penalty is prohibited, okay? Its implementation is strictly prohibited. Gano man because of Republic Act 9346. Your Republic Act 9346 was a law signed by Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Okay? This was during the Jubilee year. Okay, so iyan nahang gisaynan as a gift to our Pope. Okay, as a gift to our Pope. So ang nahitabo was that it resulted to the prohibition of the implementation of death penalty here in the Philippines. Wala lagi makita. Tingin sa a little. Okay, wala. Dili ni mao. Okay. So, ang nahitabo was that kani. I think this is the right one. So, prior to RA 9346, ang nahitabo is we had the death penalty law. Death death law. we had the death law here in the Philippines, which is Republic Act 7659. Okay. So, ang atuang Republic Act, di mo siya makita, oy. Where was that? 9346? Yeah. This is the right one. This is the 7659. I'm sorry. So again, so ang naitabo when President former President Ramos became the president of the Philippines. Okay, specifically in December 1993, ang nahitabo, he signed the reimposition of death penalty in the Philippines through Republic Act 7659. Ang atong Republic Act 7659 provided the 46 categories of heinous crime nga wherein ang iyahang maximum or capital punishment is death penalty. Examples of these crimes were, una, rape. Okay? We all know what rape is. This is having sexual intercourse which is against the will of the opposite party. Okay? Again, when you say sexual intercourse, rape, dili but pasabot, it is only done through the insertion of the private organ of the lalaki to the private organ of the babae. Alright? But when you say rape, it can also be done by the insertion of an object papunta sa private organ or anus of the babae. You get my point? Alright? So, another thing is, aside from rape that was considered as a heinous crime, parricide also was considered as a heinous crime. Parricide means the killing of the father, the mother, of or the siblings nimo, igsuon. Infanticide also was considered as a heinous crime under Republic Act 7659. Infanticide means the killing of less than 2 days old baby. So, like for example, pagpanganak ni Arike, yung iya ding gilubong nga buhi ang bata, that is infanticide. Giab, pagpanganak ni Arike, gahuna na pa siya if, example rin daya, pagpanganak ni Arike, gahuna na pa siya if ipadayon ba niya, klaroon, disclaimer daan. Yan, ginahuna if iya bang padayon, buhion ang bata or whatever, then on the following day, naka-decide siya nga iyahang ibutang sa basurahan. Yeah, resulted to the death of the child. If mahibawan that it was Arike, ang biological mother, okay, then she is liable of infanticide. But if the child is already 2 months old, that is no longer considered as infanticide. That is already parricide. All right? Another is murder. Okay, the killing of an individual with evident premeditation, meaning to say imuhang giplanuhan. Another, homicide, the killing of an individual, pero wala nimo planuhi. Alright. Okay? Kidnapping, mga slavery. Ay, dili, why labot ang slavery? Kidnapping kana. So, these are just some of the many examples of crimes under Republic Act 7659 that were considered as heinous. Nya, ang maximum penalty is death. During this time, ang form of the delivery of death penalty was through electric chamber. I do not know if you were able to watch this movie. Katubang Baby Ama. Baby Ama. Kita mo ani? Baby Ama. Lahi lagi ni gawas. Baby Ama movie. Were you able to watch this movie? Kinaraan naman gud ni.
Ma'am.
Oh, di ba si Baby Ama gikuan man siya Giselia Electrica? Lahi lagi ni gawas. Okay, this is an old movie. Okay? Nya Giselia Electrica siya. So, inana, through electrocution ang means of delivery of death penalty under Republic Act 7659. Later on, fast forward, during the administration of former President Joseph Estrada, ang nahitabo was that the law itself was amended by Republic Act 8177. Okay, giunsa man siya pag-amend. Since they find electrocution as inhumane, mo nang they have changed the method. From electrocution, gihimo na siyang lethal injection. So, arang-arang, muhigda na lang. Yung injeksyonan, di mo kurog, mamatay. Inana. Okay? During the time of Estrada, ang pinaka-famous who was executed was Leo Echegaray. He became famous to the extent nga sa panahon nga i-execute na siya, when he was interviewed, did you really rape your daughter? Unsa may yan tubag ni stand gyud siya nga he did not rape his daughter. Okay? And it became very controversial. Okay? Very controversial to the extent that there are other people, divided ang opinion by the public saying, hala, what if he really did not rape his daughter? Subot pasabot natin inosente nga namatay through electrocution ay through lethal injection. Dahil napoy divided man ang tawo, napoy ban ay maayo ra na kay parang those who are planning to commit the same mistake, they will be deterred to do so. Kay nga naman tinud-anay nga gi-implement ang death penalty here in the Philippines. And that is also one of the major justification why death penalty was implemented before. Because death penalty was considered as a form of deterrence. Deterrence to whom? To people who are also planning to commit heinous crime such as rape and murder. Question: was the implementation of death penalty during the time of Estrada, Ramos, and katong early administration of Gloria Arroyo a violation of our human rights? The answer is, was it a violation? Let me try to ask Ruales. Was it a violation, Ruales, the implementation of death penalty?
Yes, ma'am.
Violation of human rights.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about Silorio? Can you consider it as a violation of human rights, the implementation of
No,
death
ma'am.
penalty?
No, ma'am.
No. How about you, Michi? Ang duwa ka Silorio. How about you, Michi? Can it be considered as violation of human rights?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Ruales. Ikaw rin may gayes, Ruales. Let's try to ask ko no, Rodriguez. Rodriguez, the same question. Was the implementation
Ma'am.
of death penalty before through electrocution and lethal injection considered as a violation of human rights? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
It was a violation.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
all right. Okay, hala, sige ah. Sige. Okay, actually, the correct answer is no. It was not a violation of human rights. So the two Silorios with a different second letter of the word, the E and the I, okay? Mga tawa sila. Ayaw mo ka-confuse kasi and I. Okay? The two of them are actually correct. It is not a violation of human rights. Take note, it was stipulated in the Philippine Constitution that we can also be deprived of our life, provided that there is due process of law. Before gi-execute, example, si Leo Echegaray, due process was given. May nga, ma'am, giyon sa pag-due process. Remember, it was tried to court. 'Di ba? Leo Echegaray was given, and his lawyers were given the opportunity to produce pieces of evidence that will prove na Leo Echegaray did not commit the crime. But they failed to do so. Kaya nga naman, the other party, through their counsel, was able to prove, and even witnesses were presented, nga Leo Echegaray really committed the said allegation. When he was found guilty, unsa may gibuhat sa Supreme Court, which is the court of last resort, automatic they conducted a review over the case. But then, unfortunately, based on the review, they have decided to affirm to the decision of the lower court nga si Leo Echegaray is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Sabi ni Saya pa, sa walay pagduwa-duwa. Do you get my point?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
Ma'am.
the basis of kanang mga criminal cases in the promulgation of judgment is moral certainty. Ya kay na-prove man nga guilty gyud siya. You got my point? So kato nga given example, execution and implementation of death penalty, our human rights and constitutional rights was not violated. Kay again, due process of law was observed. Pero ayaw mo kabalaka, Roales and Rodriguez. Why? Di, wala na may death penalty pa. Nahuman na lamang si Kwan Papa Diggs. Wala Japon na na reimpose ang death penalty. Kaya nga naman, until now, what is being observed is our Republic Act Mantoron 9346, an act which prohibits the imposition of death penalty. Even if karon naatay mga balaod like atong comprehensive drugs nga ang iyang maximum penalty is death. Pero the problem is death cannot be implemented because of this law that was signed by whom? Arroyo. Okay? Okay? Another thing. Another thing. Hinay, hinaya mo balik na to ang kuan. Another thing is liberty. Usa may gingon sa Philippine Constitution. Section 1. No person shall be deprived of his liberty, freedom in short. Okay? Without due process of law. So therefore, naadyoy times that we can be deprived and such deprivation is considered as legal. Question. Imbol, can you please cite a circumstance or grounds wherein your liberty can be deprived?
Ma'am,
Mm. Cite a circumstance or instance wherein your liberty, okay, your freedom, pwedeng kwaon. Ano sa aman? Rodriguez. Ay, Imbol. When?
ma'am. Ako, ma'am.
Okay, so let's have Fritz. Okay, Fritz, kindly give me one example.
If you commit a crime, ma'am,
That is correct. Commission of a crime. As ikaw maoy mahimong primary suspect or accused will result to legal or reasonable deprivation of your liberty. Mo ba yung rason nga no, i-detain ka. Okay? How about Teves? Another grounds dong. Legal grounds. Tebs. Teves.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yeah. Another.
Kanang,
What?
kanang committing a violence, ma'am. Like, ma'am, kanang,
Speak in English.
like, kanang robbery, ma'am. Yan, ma'am.
Commission of a crime. Still commission of a crime. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Still acceptable. Another answer, please. Aside from the commission of a crime, let's have Arike. Ayaw na ni sa Arike. Arike was already called earlier. How about Azucenas? Another grounds. Huy. Okay. Every time that you will not give me an answer, I'll give you 0. How about Babor? Another grounds,
Yes, ma'am.
Babor. Huh?
To kill people, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Still, actually, that's correct. But I'm asking, aside from crime commission, what else pa man?
Try, ma'am.
Okay, let's have PJ. Yes, what's your answer, PJ?
How about ma'am, the being accused or guilty by the court, ma'am?
Yes, that
He
is
or she was
very
proven, ma'am,
good.
guilty
Very
by the court,
good.
ma'am.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
ma'am.
good. Ang buot pasabot ni PJ is servitude of sentence. Kana bang you are already found guilty sa imuhang crime committed, promulgated by a competent court. That's so mo na yung hinunduman. Like for example, si Gabriel na pod ato ang si Judge Gabriel. Okay, ningon si Judge Gabriel. Oh, ikaw. Ihan, you are found guilty beyond reasonable doubt. You are sentenced to serve 20 years. And you need to pay blah blah blah. So but pasabot kung karon adlaw ni declare gi-promulgate ni Pepe unsa man ang adlaw 24, meaning to say a lapse of 15 days gikan sa pag-promulgate og judgment, meaning to mag-start tag count sa 24, the judgment becomes final and executory. When it becomes final and executory, mo na siya gitawag natog servitude of the sentence. Meaning to say, kinahalang iserve na nimo ang imuhang sentence. That is correct. So aside from the servitude of the sentence, kana pong fugitive. Fugitive ba? Kasi but pasabot ana, a judgment was already been promulgated. Pagkahuman nakaikyas ka, so you are considered as an escapade. Okay? So, kung makagawas ka and naama kay utang sa gobyerno, which is you need to serve your sentence. So, kung makitaan ka, pwede kang arestaron kung ibalik ka sa prisuhan. Okay? Naapoy times, even, pero kani siya, temporary rapod noon ni. Like for example, violent insanity. Mangsunog nagbalay ang buang, mupatay na, mangulata na ang buang. In that case, pero in that given example, deprived naman po siya sa iyahang liberty kay nabuang naman siya. So, temporarily, it is placed in the police station, but later on, it is being transferred to a mental hospital. Okay? Very good, very good. So, do you have any questions or clarifications?
None, ma'am.
Okay. Another thing it mentioned here.
Ma'am,
Yes, Gabuya. What's your question, Gabuya? Can you
ma'am,
please?
how about kay ma'am tas malaga kag laing lugar niya ang sentence ato is like
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Kanang imuhang gitawag is what we call prescription of crime. And that is very good ha because you've mentioned about you're doing advanced reading very good. So nata gitawag nga prescription of crime. Unsa may buot pasabot nga like for example, tanan nga heinous crimes like rape, like murder, like homicide, mo prescribe na siya kuan kuan mo prescribe na siya after 20 years gikan sa iyahang kuan commission or report or discovery that a crime has been committed. And the counting for the prescription of crime is only applicable if the perpetrator is within the Philippine archipelago. Example, example. Kisa po example na ko ani. Example, si Tubat. Okay? Example, si Tubat. Iyahang gi patay si Urot. Joke ra na ha. Example. Butangan na tog disclaimer. Okay, example, si Tubat. Oo, murdered. Urot. Okay. So, kung si Tubat magtago-tago, naara sa within the Philippines lang, but pasabot, the counting continues. Okay? Laliman, kag 20 ka tuig ka magtago-tago, kisa may successful aron. Diba? Ina na. So, normally, ang may tabuan na na standing warrant. So, kung asa siya makitaan, mahibawan, nga muna siya, pwede siyang dakpon anytime. If mangutana siya, for example, gipatay niya dito sa asaman, asa mang lugar ha, sa Quezon City. Doon ni adto siya probinsya ni ani siya Dumaguete. Okay? So kung naay violation po diri si normally masakpan maguna siya if another crime is committed. Kay i-check maguna sa police station if there are standing warrant. Okay, assuming nga nangawat diri si Tubat, yung gihatod siya sa police station, yung paglingi sa files nila nakita nga Tubat has a standing warrant. So he will also be arrested. Mingo ma'am, nya kay ato pa man niya gi-commit atong 2019. Oh, adi mo ganag 2019. Ato pa man niya gi-commit atong 2010. Di ba dugay man na kaayo? The answer is he is still liable to answer the crime that he has committed. Why? All heinous crime prescribes within 20 years. Gikan sa pag-report, pag-commit, or ang discovery. Okay? Pero, that is applicable ra diri sa Pilipinas. Sometimes, the prescription of crime and the counting of the prescription halts. Kasi halts, muhunong. Kung the perpetrator is no longer within the Philippines. Like for example, niadto siya sa Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, again, as what I mentioned, it is only applicable if naa sa Pilipinas. Pero what if si Tubat nila gagawas? Oh, subot pasabot ana, ang prescription of crime halts, ang counting halts. Subot pasabot, ibutang nato ano sa man siya ng rape? Ay, anang rape ni patay. 20 years old. Pagka 25 niya ni adto siya og gawas. Oh. Subot pasabot, pagbalik niya sa Pilipinas, bisan pag 60 anyo siya, pag tungtong niya sa Philippine territory, the counting itself continues. Therefore, he will be held liable. They got my point? Ganyan. Okay? Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Clarifications?
Yes, ma'am.
None so far, ma'am.
Palagi naging none so far. Alright, so